Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is YAHMAD. So in this video we're going to continue with paper 2 from the ICT IGCSE course, and we're doing February-March 2020. So paper 2 is a practical paper which is 2 hours and 30 minutes long. In the previous video I've completed the document production part, and now we're going to be doing data manipulation, which is databases. So let's go down to page 5, task 3, database. So you're now going to prepare some reports for the company. These are based on tables containing data about customers and engineers. Engineers can be qualified to serve as gas, electric and/or air conditioning systems. Make sure all currency values display the same currency symbol. Let me just highlight this. And are set to 2 decimal places. Dates are to be imported as day, month and year. Okay. So we're going to be importing this first table first of all. So before we start, what we need to do is create a new database file. So go to your source folder. You can do it like this. Right click your mouse, go to new and select Microsoft Access Database, and you can give it any name you want, and then open up the file. Or you can open up Microsoft Access, go to File and New. It doesn't really matter which way you do it. So as you can see, this database is empty right now, and the first thing we need to do is to import this CSV file. So m2120 customers.csv. Okay, we need to use these field names and data types as shown, making sure any dates are imported as day, month and year. Okay, and shown in the medium format. So to import a CSV file, you go to external data. On the previous version of Access you need to click on text file, but on this version you just click on new data source, from file, and then you click on text file. Then you click on browse and you find the location of your CSV file. I'm just going to pause the video as I find the location of the CSV file. Okay, so here's the file. You double click on it or select it, and then you can click on open, then press OK. Next. The first row are field names, so we can tick this. Then we go to advanced and let's check the data types. So the first thing we need to check is to make sure the date's in the correct order, so day, month and year, which refers to this. Yep, so that's fine. The first 3 fields should be shown as text, so short text. Yep, that's fine. Customer number is integer or number, that's fine. The next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fields should be shown as text. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need to change telephone number back to text, short text. The reason we change the telephone number to text is because it may contain a plus sign if it's an international phone code, for example. So it's best to have it as text. Date and time for date, and then 2 texts again. So let's have a look. Yeah, that's fine. The date is in the right format. Text, price should be currency. So I'm going to leave it for now and change it later in design view. And the last field should be text. So it's really useful that we check in these fields are in the right format at this point. Press next, next again. Do we have a primary key? So the primary key is normally the field which contains unique values for each record. So set a primary key using an appropriate field from the table. So we basically have to choose a field ourselves. Okay, yeah, so the customer number, so a unique reference code. So in this example it doesn't tell us which field to choose as a primary key, but obviously the primary key will be something that's unique for each record. So we can choose customer number. The customer number is here, and you can see each number is different. So choose my own primary key, customer number, next, and finish. Click on close. So here's our table, and what we need to do is now go to design view, because you can see the date's not in the correct format yet. So if we go to design view, And let's also make the price into currency as well. So price is going to be set to 2 decimal places. So if I just change the format here to currency, and automatically you should see 2 decimal places. You don't need to select 2 here. Where's the price? Let me go across. Yeah, so 2 decimal places, that's fine. And let's change the date now to, so if you click on it, the format should be medium. And then if you click on yes, you can see the date appears like the example shown. So DD, and 3 characters for month, and then 2 characters for year. Yes, perfect. Save the changes. So that's the first part done. Okay. You can have a look at this information as well. So G for service refers to gas, E is electric, A is for air conditioning. Yep, I'm happy with that now. So let's move forward. So evidence 3, take a screenshot evidence to show the primary key field, field names and data types used in the table, and place this into your evidence document. So it's best to go to design view. Okay, let me press. And let's go to my evidence documents now. So evidence 3. And let me paste this in. And again, you can use the crop tool to crop off any parts which you don't want to show. And make sure the print screen is nice and clear. Okay, I'm happy with that. Let me just move. Actually, I don't need to make it as big. Okay, and if you want, you can also take this print screen as well to show, if you want to be specific, you've set the price field as currencies and set to 2 decimal places. So let me just copy that as well. So this is extra if you want to do this as well. Obviously this will show up in the report as well that you have formatted it as a currency and 2 decimal places. Right, save the evidence document. And we can now move on to importing the second table, which contains information about the engineers. So we're going to follow the same steps to import a CSV file. Let me just go to view, double check the price. Yeah, it's the same. You can close this down. And again, to import the CSV file, you click on external data. On previous versions, you may need to click on text, but on this version, you click on new data source, from file, and then text file. Browse, and we need to select the engineers.csv file. Always double check. Yeah, it's engineers. Press OK. Next. The first row you can see contains field names. And you can see these numbers here, -1 and 0. These refer to Boolean fields, which are yes and no. So at this point, it's really important you do change them to Boolean fields. So again, the dates in the correct format, day, month, and year. But I don't think there is any dates in here. No. So gas, electric, and aircon are going to be displayed as yes or no. Okay, so if you don't change it here, then you won't be able to change it later. Some people say, oh, I've just got a tick box. It's because you haven't changed the Boolean fields whilst you're importing it, the CSV file. Press OK. Next. Do we have a primary key? Set a primary key using an appropriate field from a table. So again, we have to choose one ourselves. So look at the notes, the ENGNO, so maybe engineer number, is going to be unique code, so we can set this one as the primary key. So remember, the primary key contains unique values, and these numbers seem to be changing for each record for each engineer. Next, finish, close. So we have the engineers table. It still shows as yes or -1 or 0, and that's fine. So now what we need to do, go to design view, so home, design view, click on each of these and change the format to show yes or no. Okay. And since we changed the format of the gas, electric and aircon fields whilst we imported, we can now change the format to show yes or no. If you don't change it whilst you import it, it's just going to show us a tick box, a tick for yes and a blank box for no. So is there anything else we need to do at this point? So evidence 4, we need to take a screenshot to show the primary key, field names and data types used in the table and place this into your evidence document. So again, we can go to design view and we can take this print screen here. So again, it's up to you what method you use to take your print screens. The main thing is that the print screens, your evidence, are nice and clear. Okay, so we've got the field names and data types. The mistake some people may make is to take a print screen of this. That's not really what they're asking you to do based on mark schemes. This is the print screen that they want you to do take. Okay, so let's save the changes. Okay, now we need to add a record. So question 12, an engineer has joined the company and a record of their personal details and skills needs to be entered into the database. So what we need to do is to create a user-friendly data entry form and use it to enter the data as a new record. So there's 4 marks here. So we're going to make a data entry form in a column format, which I'll show you in a second. So to create a data entry form, let's save the changes, close down all of your tables. We go to create, form, or form wizard actually is better. And we are going to be inserting a record for the engineer. Okay, so make sure you select the right table, so not the customers, the engineers. Select all of the fields. Next, it's going to be in a column format. Next, and you can have a suitable name. So engineers data entry form. And we want to modify the form, modify the form's design. Finish. Okay, let's get rid of this box for now. So right now, if I go to form view, this is what it looks like right now. And you can see there's no reason to have these field lengths so long. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to format this form now. Okay. I'm going to press Control on my keyboard to select these fields at the same time, and we're going to reduce the size. Okay, maybe a little bit smaller, that will do. Okay, and it's going to be, has to be user friendly, so what we can do is we can add some features to this. So the first feature we're going to add are some buttons to browse through the records at different engineers. So if you click on this button up here, we can have buttons to go to the first record, last record, or allows you to go back and forward one record at a time. So we want to go to the first record, have a look at the preview, next. Sometimes better to show the picture of the button instead. We can also show the text, but I think the picture for this button is better. Next and finish. Let's keep adding buttons. Remember, I've clicked on design. If you don't see the option, to get the button option, go to the last record. So again, check out the preview. Next, finish. Go to the next record. So this will just go to the next record, not to the last one. Again, we're showing the picture. Let's move this button here. Make another box. Go to the previous record. Next, finish. So if I click on form view, you can see if I click on these buttons, we go forwards, and you can refer to the numbers down here. So 8 out of 26. If I click on this one, we go to the first record. If I click on this one, we go to the last record. So these buttons allow you to go backwards and forwards one record at a time. This goes to the first record, this goes to the last record. I'm also going to add a button to add a new record, so let's make a bigger button. Go to record operations, add a new record, This time it's best to show the text, okay? Because I'm not sure if the icon really tells you what we're doing right now. So click on text, next, finish, and maybe a button to close the form. Go to record operations, or form operations actually. Close the form, next, click on the text. Okay. I'm also going to just make these fields, change the formatting of the fields so it's a little bit bold and they stand out a little bit better. Let's change the color of the text to black. And maybe if you want to add some shading, you can do. Okay. And maybe you want to change the title as well if you want to make this bigger. So this is all extra things you can add if you want to do to make it look a bit more friendly, user friendly. Maybe you want to add, so if you go to design view, a quick label just as instruction on what to do. So click on this icon here. If you keep your mouse on it long enough, it should say label, and you can say, you give some information. Click on the add record button, to add a new record. So some information for you. What we can do, we can format this text, just make it black and bold, maybe change the color to red so it stands out a little bit better. Get rid of this. So if I go back to my form view, so you can see we formatted this form now. We have some buttons to go backwards and forwards. We have buttons to close the form, save the changes, and then we can open it back up again. We have a button to add new records. You can see I've changed the formatting here so the fields stand out a little bit better, and the field lengths have been reduced as well so they don't take up as much space. And then we have some instruction here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add a new record. So I'm going to copy this information from here. So to add a new record, we have 26 right now. So if we click on the button, as the information shows us here, we can start entering the new data. Obviously I can copy and paste. Make sure if you are entering this data, you're not making any spelling mistakes. And you use capital letters, obviously, for the first letter of the name. So yes, yes, and no. And the registration number is going to be this. So again, make sure you copy it exactly as shown on the question paper and save the changes. Just click on here. So now we have 27 records. We need to take, for evidence 5, a screenshot of the form with the new record displayed and place this in your evidence document. Okay, again, we need to make sure we have a nice clear print screen showing all of the information from the data entry form. Again, we want to give every reason to the examiners to give you the marks. So, okay, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Actually, I can make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, there we go. And we can crop off the bottom part here. Yep, I'm happy in my print screen. Probably could make this a little bit bigger now. There we go. Save the changes. And job done. Now it's time to make the relationship. So question 13. So before we do so, close down anything that's open. So if you have tables open, close them down. Go to database tools, relationships, and add the two tables shown. And you can see the primary keys for the customers table is customer number, and this is a primary key for the engineers table. So we normally use the primary keys to create the relationship. Let's go back to our exam paper. So it's going to be a one-to-many relationship between the engineer number in the engineer table and the engineer reference in the customer table. So one engineer will have many customers. So this field to, what we need to do is show all of the fields. Yeah, so this primary key refers to this foreign key here. So the data in both these fields will be exactly the same. I'm just going to click on create, and then for the print screen I'm going to click on here, because normally we do take a print screen. Let me just go, am I jumping the gun? No. Yeah. Evidence 6, take a screenshot evidence of the relationship and place this into your document. So I like to include this as well as this, which shows the relationship. Okay. Okay, crop off the parts which we don't need, and then we can preview the relationship. So click on OK, close, yes, save the changes. So if you go to engineers, each engineer, so Charlie Stevens, has a set of customers. Okay, so obviously Bruce doesn't have any customers, that's fine. He needs to find some customers. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Okay, question 14. Using fields from the customer table, produce a tabular report. Okay, so before we can make the report, you need to do the query tasks. So the query tasks involve selecting fields, sometimes creating a new field which is calculated, and entering some search criteria to filter down the data. The report tasks is how the data will be presented. So you can see I've already annotated the question. Sometimes the bullet points are all mixed up, and you need to identify what you do in a query first and what you do in a report second. As you can see here, these bullet points seem to be in some sort of order. So let's go to Access and start by creating a query with the fields shown here. Let me quickly change the color here. Go to Comment, select the highlighter pen. Just want to change it back to what it was. Okay, done. Right, let's go to Access. So if anything is open, any tables are open, just close them down. And to create a query, you can click on Create Query Wizard. Press OK. We're going to be selecting fields from the customer table. So let me put a highlighter pen back on. Okay, so make sure you select the customer table by clicking down here, selecting customers. And now we're going to select the fields shown in the order. So in this order. So let's start with customer number, title and family name. Customer number, where's title? Title, family name, street address and postcode, telephone number, date and session, service, price and engineer reference. Service, next. And when you get to this point here, I always use the title that's going to be appearing on top of the report to also be the name for the query. So let's click on the selection tool. So it includes a report title, daily service visits. So it's easier when the query has the same name as the report heading, because then you can match them up together. Right, and you don't have to repeat this task later on. Finish. So here's my query with the same title. We have 176 records. Let me double check the fields. So we got customer number, title, family name. Let's have a look. Customer number, title, family name. Then should be street address, postcode, telephone number. Yeah. Date, session, service. Let me double check. And price and engineer reference. Yeah. It's always good to double check everything that you're doing is in the right order for now. This part refers to the report later on, so I'll leave it blank for now. Now select only visits on the date 5th of March 20. So when you are searching for this piece of data, we need to search using the date in the original format, which is shown here. So 05/03 for March and then a full year. So let's go to access. So we need to search under this field here. Date. So 05/03/2020. Let me double check. So 5th of March 2020, yeah. So you can see here is the search criteria. Click on run, and we're down to 44 records. And double check if all of the dates are the same. Yes, they are. Let's save the changes. And we've finished the report tasks. So, we've finished the query tasks. And now I'm going to change the color to green for the highlighter pen. So, okay, done. So now what we need to do is to create a report based on a query. So this is the data that's going to go into the report. So you go to create, report wizard, select the right query, so daily service visits, and select all of the fields. Next, next. And we have to sort the data, so ascending order of engineer reference. So you can change ascending to descending by double clicking here. And ascending order of session. So because we've done a sort here, we're going to have to put the fields back in the right order. So when you do a sort like this, these fields will be the first ones on the report, but obviously we need to show the fields in this order here shown in the query. Next, automatically is tabular, so that's fine, we don't need to change anything. And the page orientation is going to be landscape. So we select landscape, next, and since we've included a title in the second step of the query, yeah, after we selected the fields, we don't need to change anything now, so that's fine. So it saves us doing an extra task. Finish, and you can see the title appears here. However, this part, data labels displaying full, is not showing in full yet, and the data hasn't been grouped, so we can ignore this for now. So we need to fix this part here. We need to make sure the data labels are shown in full. You can see some of this data is cut off, and the data here is also cut off. So I'm going to close this and go to layout view. And the first thing I want to do is I want to put the fields back in the right order. So I'm going to make some space on the left hand side. So this is a customer number, which should be the first field. Session comes after date. So it should be there, but there's obviously no space. What I'm doing to select both of these, the heading and the data, is by I'm pressing Control on the keyboard. So I'm just going to move these across here. So select the heading, press Control on your keyboard, select your data, and then we're going to start moving things into the right order, making sure all of the data is shown in full. So customer number is the first field that we want. Make sure nothing's overlapping. Okay, that's fine. Let's select these two again. And I'm going to press the right cursor key, the right arrow, to move these across, just to create some more space for the title and family name. Let's move the title over here. And again, I've got more space, pressing Control. Let's move these across. I don't want anything overlapping at this point. Let's move this like this. So this part may take a while. Just go down, make sure none of the names have been cropped off. All of the names are shown in full. Yes, I'm happy with that. Again, press your Control key down, and then let's move these across. So after family name, it should be street address and postcode. So let's just move this here. So I'm going to make it smaller for now. I'll fix this in a moment. You can see some of the data is cropped off. Let's just move these across again. So it's really important you take your time doing this. It's no point rushing. Let's have a look to see if all of the data is shown in full. I think the longest one ends in avenue, and yeah, that looks fine to me. And then after street address, it's postcode. So if you're not sure, you can always go back to the exam paper and double check. It's all of the postcodes shown in full. Yeah. And then after postcode, we have the telephone number. So I think these fields are probably at the end. Okay, telephone number, and then I think it's the date. Okay, so, and you can see the dates shows as hashtags, so that means the data labels are not showing as full, so we need to open up the column in a second. So let's move it here, and now you can see the full date. Okay, and then after the date we have the session. So what we can do, we can move the engine across to here, and then move session next to the date. So the date we have, we can actually move it a little bit more. Whoops, don't want to crop anything off. So after session, is it service? Yeah. And then finally we've got to the end. Let's just move these across here. So the engineer reference should be the last one, and the price is this one here. Here we go, done. Okay, so that took a while. Yep, I'm happy with that. If you want, you can go to File, Print, Preview, and let me just see if I can zoom out by clicking the minus sign here. So zoom out and check if all the data fits a page wide. That's fine. So you can print on many pages tall, but the main thing is, does all of the data fit one page wide, which is across the page? Yes, I'm happy with that. Is any data cut off? And the price is shown in currency. Yes, done. Okay, so what's left to do now? So fits on a single page wide. We've just done that. Calculate the total price, charge, and display this as a currency below the price column. So what we do, let's go back to layout view. Yeah, we're already in layout. Click on this column here. We want to total this column. So we click on it, and then you come up here and you can click on sum. And you'll see a value here at the bottom, and the currency has been included. If you don't see the currency, you can also go to property sheet and add the decimal places here. But we have the currency included. And display a label, daily total, to the left of this number. Make sure you include a capital D and you spell this data correct. I can copy and paste since I've got the exam paper electronically. So if you go now to design view, so I did that quite quickly. Design, we want to add a label to the left of this value here. So yeah, sometimes the label might be to the right, so it's really important you double check if it's to the left or right. And create a box. Make a box a bit bigger. Okay, done. And the title's already been included, daily services, service visits. Has your name, center number and candidate number displayed on every page of the report? So it doesn't say at the top of the page or bottom, so it's up to you where you want to include that. So if you want to include a page header or footer, you need to put it either here or page footer here. So I'm going to include it in the page header. So if the details on the page header, then your name will be on every page. If you put the details on the report header, it will just be on the first page. If it was on a report footer, then your details will just be on the last page. Okay, so move these down, add a new label for your details. So I think it's going to be your name first. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. Your name, center number, I'll use 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3 from a candidate number. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4 from a candidate number. I'm not sure what I'm saying. Okay, done. And again, you can go to File, Print, Preview. You can see the name there, and then go to second page. The name is also at the top. That's fine. And you can save and print a report, making sure your details appear on each page. So make sure when you do print, you double check if all of this criteria has been met. If you see any mistakes, just go back and fix the mistakes and print it again. For evidence 7, let me just change the highlighter pen back to the original color. Okay. Place in your evidence a screenshot showing a formula used to calculate the daily total. So it's basically this here. So it was for evidence 7. And again, just include what's been asked. So it's just this part here. And obviously, oops, I don't want to share it. What am I doing? Crop it off. And then make this bigger. So obviously for the examiner, they can see nice and clearly what they're going to be marking. Save your changes. And that's done. Okay, so now we're going to be doing question 15. Again, I've done a similar thing. I've identified what tasks are going to be done in a query, which is where we select your fields and we enter your search criteria. There's a few more criteria here that we need to search for to filter the data. And then all of the report tasks have been identified as well. Okay, so let me change the color of this. I'm not sure why I've done it in that color. So I normally get my students to use highlight pens, 2 different colors, highlight what's going to be the query and what's going to be report. Again, it looks like this exam paper, they've tried making your lives easier by putting the bullet points in the right order. Normally, they would mix up the bullet points and you would have to identify where you start off with. Again, when you create the query, you start by selecting the fields. Okay, and this time we're going to be using fields from both the tables to produce a tabular report. Okay. So I'm done with these two, and it's nice that we've labeled query the same name as the report, because I know this now matches up with this report. Let's create the second query, and we want to select fields from the tables. Okay, so yeah, both tables. Remember, if you're selecting fields just from here, you're only looking up, I think it was 44 records, but we want to find data from all of these, all of the records from the tables shown here. So what's the first field that we need to select? Title, family name, customer number. Title, family name, customer number. Street address, postcode. Date, session, service. First name, last name. So that must be from the engineers. First name, last name. Gas. And the gas registration number. In this order, yep, that's fine. We can keep going. And again, I like to enter the title that's going to be appearing at the top of the report at this point. So include the title morning gas service schedule. So let me copy this. Obviously when you're doing it, make sure you are spelling it right, including capital letters when shown, and finish. So because we've selected the records from the tables, we have 176 records in total. Okay, so the first part is done. Now we're going to enter the search criteria, and here we have 3 search criteria, and my tip is we do it one at a time. So postcode starts with PE, and what you'd have to do for the search criteria is type in PE and then star. So what that does is finds anything that begins with PE. So postcode, and the first example is shown here, that's what we want to do. So starts with PE and then anything after. Okay, so let's go to design view, postcode, type in PE, doesn't really matter if it's capital or not, star, click on run, and double check, yes, all of the postcodes are PE, starting with PE, and we're down to 45 records now. So we've done the first search criteria. Session is going to be AM, so let's look at the session. So it's either AM or PM, so that's quite easy. We just type in AM for session. Again, do it one at a time. Yep, now we're down to 19 records. And surface is G or GE. So basically, this is all we need to do for the criteria, G or GE. So service. And if you wanted to add another service, you simply type OR and then write the service letter, but we don't need to include another one. So G or GE. Run. Yep, that's fine. Double check the data, G and GE. We're now down to 11 records. So that's why I do or enter the search criteria separately, is because we can check to see if the criteria has worked, has the data been filtered, is the correct data showing. So now we've finished off what we do in a query. Now we can move on to the report tasks. So save the query, go to create report wizard, and it's going to be for the morning gas schedule. So you'll see we've got 2 queries now, but we want to base this report on this query. Select all the fields, next. Okay, next, next. And we have a sort. Let me change the color of the pen now, so you can see we're doing a query task. So I'll put the highlighter pen on. Sort the data in ascending order of last name. Done. Next. Is it portrait or landscape? Fits on the landscape page, so you can see it's slightly in a different order. So we need to look at the different fields or different bullet points and do it in the right order. I need to include a title again because we've selected fields from 2 tables. The title just sometimes disappears, so let's just enter the title again and then finish. So let me highlight what's been done and what needs to be completed still. So we need to make sure all of the data labels are displayed in full, so I'm about to do that now. Okay, so you can see hashtags, hashtags. So close that, go to layout view. And the sort was done on the last name. Okay, but last name was for the engineer, and we need to move that field just after first name. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make some space here, move this across, let's just make it a bit smaller. So now at least the fields are in the right order, and we can double check this at the end. And now let's move everything across. So it should be title. Press Ctrl to select the heading and the data. Customer number, I think was the next one. So you want to make sure all of the data labels are shown in full. No data is cut off. postcode. Obviously hashtags are shown for the date because the data is not shown. So when you increase the size of the column, you can see the data shown in full. Session is just going to be AM, that's something we search for. Service should be GE or G, again that's something we search for. And obviously double check the date, yeah the date's all the same. First name, this is probably for the engineer now. Last name, let's just move it slightly across, and then we are almost done this part. Done. Save the changes. Okay, so go back to design view. What do we need to do next? Calculate and display at the bottom of the report the number of visits for this session. So we're basically, what we need to do is count each record. Okay, so what we can do, we can select any field and we go to totals, count records. So there's been 11 visits in this schedule. And this, where do we need to place this? Calculate and display at the bottom. It just says at the bottom of the report. So the number of visits for each session, we've done that. Display a label, engineer. Whoops, let me just highlight this text here. Just delete this for a second so I can highlight this text. Engineer visits to be made to the left of this number. So what I'm going to have to do is go to design view. Going to move this across here, and then we have space now to add a label. Engineer visits to be made. Yeah, I've done that now. And we already had the page in landscape. And then display your name, center number and candidate number at the top right in the report. So top right is here. So it's only on one page, so it doesn't really matter if it's on the page header or report header, so only one page will be printed. So we need to include name, center number and candidate number, so I'll use the same details. Obviously you would refer to your own details in the exam. So center number 5, 6, 7, 8, candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. And done. Save and print this report. Make sure you've entered your name, center number, candidate number on the report. Okay, so you go to File and Print, Print Preview, check if the fields are in the right order, so it should be title, family name, customer number. Let me double check. Title, family name, customer number, yeah. Street address, I'm just checking to see if it's all showing, yeah. Postcode and date. Session, service. First name, last name. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot to highlight these. But we've done these as well. Let me change the colour of my pen again. Comment. Back to yellow or amber, whatever colour that is. Close. And we are done. So once you've checked everything and you can see your details, the label, and is it meant to be to the left? Yeah, left of this number, that's fine. Evidence 8, place in your evidence document a screenshot showing a formula used to calculate the number of visits for this session. And what we do is we go, we're in design view and we want to basically take a print screen of this. And let's make this bigger, and we've come to the end of the database section for the February-March 2020 paper. So this was quite a straightforward database task. You just need to take your time checking over any mistakes you may have made. Annotate your question paper as you're going through it, so it just makes your life so much more easier. Please drop your comments below, like and share this video, and good luck with your exams. Take care guys, all the best.